Hey up, my name's Jamie. Good morning. Well, as you can see, I'm sat on my decking. I am going to tell you a story. As you could probably see from the title and the thumbnail, it's about a myth from many years ago, which was the Halifax Slasher. So it's just going to be me and thee, and I'll explain why afterwards. Forget a brew, pour yourself an adult beverage, let me tell you a tale. There are places in the world where strange things have happened. Stories that linger in alleyways and under street lamps. Tales that feel like they belong in the pages of fiction. But they're real, at least in a way. Sometimes they're about things we can explain. A crime, a tragedy, a mistake. Other times they slip through the cracks. They sit somewhere between history and myth. And we're left to wonder, what really happened? But then, every now and then, there are stories that aren't really about what happened. They're about people, reactions, how they reacted. How fear can take hold, quietly at first, like a whisper in the dark, then louder and louder still, until it becomes the only thing anyone hears. This is one of those stories. Now, it doesn't begin with blood or murder. It begins with nerves, with tension, with the world on edge and people looking over their shoulders. The year is 1938. The place, Halifax, West Yorkshire. A solid stone-built town. Mills, chimneys, steep hills and hard work. People knew their late neighbours. They worked long hours and read the headlines with growing unease, because far beyond Halifax, storm clouds were gathering. Germany had invaded Austria. Hitler's voice filled wireless sets across Britain. War didn't just feel possible, it felt inevitable. People were preparing for it emotionally, if not yet physically. And in times like that, minds turn inward, nerves fray. The line between imagination and reality sometimes starts to blur. And then, out of nowhere, a woman walks into a Halifax police station. She's pale, she's shaken, clutching her coat. She says she was attacked. A man came at her in the street, didn't say a word, just slashed her across the chest. She shows the cut. It's shallow, but it's real. She didn't get a good look at him, said he disappeared into the dark. The police file a report. They've seen worse. But the next night, it happens again. Another woman, same kind of wound, same vague story, a man in dark clothes, quick, silent, gone. By the end of the week, 6 more reports have come in. One even claims the attacker carried a flashlight. Another says she saw a glint, maybe a knife, maybe a razor. Halifax is suddenly alive with rumour. Some say he's hiding in the old mill yards. Others say he only strikes women. Some think he's a madman. Others think he's a ghost. No one knows what he looks like, but everyone's sure he's real. And so begins the panic. People stop going out after dark. Men start patrolling the street in groups, armed with sticks and crowbars. Some stand guard outside their houses, just in case. Women walk in pairs, children are kept close. And then the newspapers catch on. The Halifax Courier, the Yorkshire Post, the National Paper, all with one headline: the Halifax Slasher. And just like that, the myth was born. More reports flood in. A man says he was attacked on his way home from the mill. A young woman swears someone slashed her coat while she was walking down Commercial Street. The town is spinning. Every shadow feels alive. Every stranger is suspicious. The slasher has no face, just a name and a growing legend. And the police, they're stuck. No solid leads, no witnesses, no suspects, just wounds and fear. So they do the only thing they can. They call in Scotland Yard. 2 top detectives from London arrive. The town is buzzing, finally. Someone will catch the slasher. But when the yard men start to dig, something doesn't sit right. Some of the injuries don't line up. Too shallow, too clean. Some are oddly placed on parts of the body you could reach yourself. The stories get inconsistent. Timelines are off. Some victims contradict their own statements. And then, almost quietly, something breaks. One of the victims confesses he wasn't attacked, he cut himself. He doesn't know why. Maybe he wanted to feel like he was part of this story. Maybe he really believed it was happening to him until it wasn't. Then another confesses, and another. One woman admits she panicked after tripping and scraping her arm, assumed it must have been the slasher. A teenage boy says he lied to get out of work. Another says he just wanted attention. It all starts falling apart. There is no Halifax Slasher. There never was. What Halifax had lived through wasn't a manhunt, it was mass delusion. A shared hysteria fueled by fear, whispers and headlines. The press, who'd fed the flames quietly, backed away. A few people were charged with wasting police time, a couple served short sentences, and the rest just faded back into the background of town life. But the fear, the way it spread, that left a mark. Because what happened in Halifax wasn't really about crime. It was about belief, and how powerful belief becomes when people are scared. Once you think there's something to fear, a man in the shadows, a razor in the dark, an enemy who doesn't speak, your mind fills in the blanks. You start to see what isn't there. And sometimes, if people believe in something, even a phantom can start to feel real. And what makes the Halifax Slasher chilling? Not that he ever existed, but that so many people were convinced that he did. That fear, true fear, can create a monster out of nothing. And maybe that's the lesson here. That in the right conditions, with the right tension in the air, with the right amount of pressure, anyone can be haunted. Not by ghosts, not by killers, but by stories. By the stories we tell each other and the ones we tell ourselves. This is the story of the Halifax Slasher. And it's one of the strangest, most unsettling cases of collective fear in British history. Not because it happened, but because people believed that it did. My name is Jamie. I hope you enjoyed. So yeah, a little quick story there on the Halifax Slasher. I'm thinking to do some more sort of stories like this, more on the sort of grim side of Halifax and things. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. Now, the reason I'm just sat on my decking doing this and not out for a mooch recently is because I have been not suffering, but I've been having a lot of pain when I've been walking in my hips. So I'm just taking a bit taking it a bit easy. I do have an appointment with the musculoskeletal, all that bull crap. So we're gonna get it sorted, find out what's going on, get it sorted. Because don't forget, on the 1st of May, I'm starting my walk 100 miles for Prostate Cancer UK. So we will be doing that regardless, even if I have got to have a walking stick. We will be getting our 100 miles. I'll be doing a video about that separately soon, very soon, because it's nearly May, and yeah, and then we'll get it going. So that's why there's not been many mooch videos or anything. Just been taking it a little bit easy, because if something's getting damaged, you don't want to do it even more. And when I've been coming back from the mooches, I have been in quite a bit of pain in my hips, which is really been sort of aggravating me and yeah, pissing me off basically. But we'll get it sorted, and yeah, we'll get it all done. So for now, my name's Jamie. I'm your Yorkshire Walker, and I'm out. Peace.